Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. And we come to you after really the Giants. That's what we were paying attention to. The Giants fall in overtime to the greatness of Gibbs and lose a game where they did so many terrific things today. There were so many things to rave about. But again, they could not deal with one player, and a player that I have talked about many times being the most explosive player in this league from scrimmage. And on the other night when the Lions lost to the Eagles, I talked about how brain dead the head coach was with his play calling, and I don't like him as a play caller at all. Okay, because he's pass happy, he gets away from the run way too much, and you can't get away from the run when you have this kind of player. And he did it again today for a while, and then he finally got back to it, and it saved the day for him. If he had given the ball to Gibbs in the second half and down the stretch on the other night against the Eagles, they would have won. He would have made one of those plays. He would have made one of those plays that you saw today because he is that lethal. He is that close to going all the way on almost every other play. It is remarkable. And you could talk about the defense collapsing again and to get into all the different things that the Giants didn't do. Okay. But the bottom line is they could not give up the kind of touchdowns they gave. They gave up a 49-yard score after they took that 27-17 lead with 12 minutes left on that crazy play with Winston scoring. And, you say it's a Giants day. All right, they've had two crazy gimmick plays. They both work for touchdowns. It's their day. But then they give the ball right to Gibbs, touchdown. Now it's 27-24, okay? We know everything that went on after that, and then you give him the ball in overtime, and what does he do? He goes 70 yards for a touchdown, 69 yards for a touchdown. And sets up the overtime where the Giants have to try and see if they can get down the field and score. They couldn't. They did move it for some first downs, but finally the sack and the Giants fall. The Lions needed this game desperately, but there is no way in the world you're impressed with anything you saw from the Lions except for Gibbs, who was, otherworldly today. If you had him in your fantasy league, I would think he probably had 50 points. He had 15 carries for 219 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He had 11 catches and a touchdown. He had run after run after run after run. He is an incredibly gifted player. Remarkable how good he is. And he completely, was the reason why the Giants are not getting a victory today and instead have another fourth quarter collapse on their resume for the season. Like I said, Winston did some good things today, okay? 18 of 36 for 366 and a couple of scores. 10 pass plays of over 20 yards. 10. The most in decades. Okay? Robinson, 9 catches for 156 yards and a touchdown. A tremendous game for him. The bottom line is, in overtime, when you're dealing with a team like the Lions, they are able to go the whole distance. They have players who can go the distance time after time, but mostly it's Gibbs. Williams today, how many balls did he drop? How many balls did they drop overall today, the Lions? 5, 6? Whenever the Lions are not running the ball in a rhythm, Goff is going to look bad. He's a different player. He is a quarterback that has to play off play action and has to play off a rhythm. And if I were Campbell, the first thing I would do is give back the play calling because he is a horrific play caller. He has no idea how to sequence the plays. He has no idea how to get them into a rhythm. He gets completely away from the run. There was one drive in the second quarter when they needed a drive where Gibbs ran on first down, ran on second down, got like 11 or 12 yards, got a first down, and then 3 straight plays and out. Where is your running game? You have a guy back there who, if they hold him to 6 or 7 yards, they're ecstatic on a play. He's a first down every 2 plays automatically, almost 9 times out of 10. He is unbelievable, and they refuse to give him the ball with any frequency. And again today, I mean, later in the game, out of necessity, they gave him the football, and he still only wound up with 15 carries for 219 yards. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous, but a tough loss, yes. What does it matter if you're into a Kafka candidacy? Could matter. I think he's very much a long shot. I think he was very much a long shot anyway. I thought Winston did a very, very good job. I didn't think this game would be that close today because I thought they would come out and they would run the ball brilliantly on the Giants. I took, if you saw my picks this week, you saw that I took Gibbs as an over because I said the Giants are the worst team at dealing with this kind of running back and dealing with someone who can bounce it outside, make a quick move, and get into your secondary and be gone. The Giants give up big plays on this type of running back more than anybody. What they do today, they gave him 219 yards rushing on 15 carries. Typical Giants. Now, I thought Winston had a really good game today. I thought you can go down the list of Giant guys. The tight end played well. Robinson played very well. Okay. I thought Tracy and Singletary both played well. Their offensive line did some very good things at times, imposed its will at times. Okay. It hurt that they did not get into the end zone when they went down. I thought there was the first time that the Giants really blew it because they got down there. They were dominating. They had a chance to get the score, which they needed. Being up 6 wasn't going to help them. I did not want to go for the field goal, but I thought their second and third down play calls were horrific, absolutely awful, and the worst play calls they made in the entire game, and it cost them dearly. I thought they were terrible play calls. Now, we had a little debate in the house about taking the going up 6 there. I don't like that, especially with 3 minutes left with a team that explosive, with players that explosive. They have 3 of the most explosive players in the league and the most explosive player from scrimmage in the league by a mile. So I don't like doing that, especially with 3 minutes left. The Lions are a very high-scoring team. Okay, they've been very much off their game. They were off their game last week. They're off their game this week. They were very lucky to win today. And they can all go over and, basically kiss the ring of Gibbs with the game he had today. It was that good and gave them a win. They now play. I talked about the teams that had to get a win today and a win on Thanksgiving. Ravens at 5-5. Get a win against the Jets, who was stubborn today. We'll get to them. The Chiefs needing a win. Now, the Chiefs were lining up. I didn't know if they were going to kick the field goal or go for the touchdown at the end of the game. Let's see what they did. They kicked the field goal. Okay, I know some of you probably want them to go for the touchdown because the line went up today. It was 3, but it went up to like 4 today, or maybe even 4.5. but that's a huge win for the Chiefs, who needed a win today at 5-5, and then need to get a win against the Cowboys, which I think they will on Thanksgiving. The Ravens needed to get a win today. They will get Burrow on Thanksgiving. They got a win today. The Lions at 6-4 needed to get a win today, and then get a win against the Packers on Thanksgiving. Won't be easy. Packers got an easy win today against the awful Vikings, whose season is over. So those teams, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Lions, all got W's today. Not overly impressive. Not overly impressed with any of them, as a matter of fact. Tough loss for the Giants, but again, all right, you probably now can hand it back to Dart. I don't think they'll have to wait another week. If they do, I'd be very happy with that. I wouldn't mind if he played Washington, Minnesota, Raiders, Cowboys. I think the Giants will play well in those games. I think the Giants will win a couple of those games. I think that Dart will play well in those games. So I don't think that's an issue. If they want to play him at New England next week, I don't think that's a defense I'm worried about him playing. I did not want him to play this week. I wanted him to get another week off. So the fact that he didn't make the protocol, because the Giants would have played him. He didn't make the concussion protocol, which was, I thought, a positive for him. So Winston's going to go back to his old role. Dart's going to probably go back into the starting lineup. And again, the only thing you're talking about is whether the interim head coach has got any chance for the future. I would say long shot at his best as the Giants go to 2-10. And again, have a very rough fourth quarter, blow another lead. They've had fourth quarter leads in 5 games where they've lost the game this year, an NFL high. Okay. When you do that, it's very tough to win in this league. Okay, a lot of games change hands in the fourth quarter of this league. We know that. Okay, we know that happens all the time. But to lose 5 games that way is very, very tough for the Giants. But like I said, a lot of things to point to today that you liked. The Giants' offensive line is no longer an embarrassment. It's now on the verge of becoming a quiet strength. You saw some good things from guys today, and you saw Winston can be a very capable backup if you need him to step in the game, either for a half or for a week or two. You also know he gets along great with Dart and will be very good to work with Dart going forward. And obviously, it's still about Dart, not the Jets. Okay, I don't think anybody in their right mind thought they would beat the Ravens in Baltimore, with the Ravens desperately needing to get this game and the next game and get to 7-5 and then take their run at trying to get to the postseason after that terrible start. And clearly, Lamar Jackson is not Lamar Jackson. They win 23-10. I guess it depends where you are, whether that covers the point spread or not. The point spread seemed to be all over the place. It went anywhere from 12.5 to 14 at different places. So I don't know where that is. The reason Taylor plays, and I've heard some people say that Fields is a better quarterback than Taylor. They're clueless if they say that. Taylor is a professional quarterback. He can get the ball down the field. He completed 17 of 28 for 222 today. They averaged 8 yards per attempt. That is NFL standard. That is what you expect. You expect guys to have decent numbers per reception. You got guys here that are 21, 18, 11. Okay, that's what you expect, not 4, 5, 3. Catching. Wide receivers catching one pass. You can't play football that way. Now, if Hall doesn't fumble the ball, this is a 3-point game. Do I think the Jets are going to win it? Probably not. But it was a 3-point game if he doesn't fumble the ball. We know what happened. It becomes a 13-point game. Okay. It's not just about wins and losses right now. It really isn't. We know Tyrod Taylor is not the future. We know that Fields is not the future. We know the Jets quarterback is not here. Now, this idea that the Jets will pass on this year and then wait to draft their quarterback. Hey, the Jets aren't going to give up years that way. They're going to try to find a quarterback that they like this year. Okay. I understand that a lot of these quarterbacks might be waiting till next year, but there are going to be quarterbacks in this draft that can play. And the Jets need to put one onto their roster. That's the bottom line. Now, if they're not happy and they want to draft another one next year with the picks they have going forward, fine. But the Jets would like to win some more games next year and not be in the same position. Okay. The bottom line is you don't just give up years in this league. It's too precious. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. Now, there are a lot of different ways to get quarterbacks. We'll see what happens there. Taylor did what you expect him to do today. Okay. He's not going to be brilliant, but he's going to be dangerous. He's going to be able to make plays down the field. He's going to move the offense like a legitimate NFL offense. And they did today. There wasn't a lot of offense in this game, but the Jets had 282 yards, and the Ravens only had 242. And you're not looking at regular Lamar Jackson, who again this week did not throw for a touchdown nor run for a touchdown. This is a guy who usually produces an average of 3 to 4 touchdowns per week. He's produced none in the last 2 weeks. He threw for 150 yards. He ran for 11 yards, okay? Very careful with the running. He has injuries. They are trying to get him healthier so that when they see Pittsburgh twice, that they can have the real Lamar out there. This team has injuries on defense they really cannot compensate for. They don't have the ability to be the team they thought they were going to be in preseason. They can't. They had too many debilitating injuries. They cannot be a major Super Bowl contender. They can be a playoff team that can be dangerous because of the quarterback. Right now, it's survival for Kansas City. It's survival for the Lions. It's survival for the Ravens. Sign up for the free Mike Francesa newsletter. You'll get exclusive content, contests, offers. Go to MikeFrancesa'Podcast.com and sign up. And remember, Bet Rivers players who place the same game parlay of at least $10 on NFL and NCAA football games will receive at least a chance to play the Squares game. Now, winning Squares can earn up to $50 bonus bet per entry, so you can't beat that. Go to the Bet Rivers app, see details right there on the Bet Rivers app. Just go to Bet Rivers or the website, check it out, and you get all the information and everything you need right there. Now, the Jets compete? Yes. Okay. Are they supposed to beat the Ravens in Baltimore? No. The bottom line is, no, they're not. Would it have been an interesting game if Hall had scored? Yeah, it would have. Again, neither team is going anywhere. What they are doing, we know what the Jets are doing. They're moving forward and trying to set themselves up for what they hope will be a very fruitful draft. And they can take a step forward with their hierarchy and their head coach in place. Do I trust the head coach yet? I do not. I do not. He has not proven anything to me yet. We wait and we'll watch that unfold. Am I impressed with anything they've done this year? Not really. Not really. At times they've been awful and hideous and embarrassing, and at times they've been a little bit improved in certain aspects of the game. But I think the move to Taylor made plenty of sense. Okay, he was protecting Fields for whatever reason, maybe because he went out and got him. Maybe he felt some remorse. I don't think he wanted to go the Aaron Glenn route for a lot of reasons. The Aaron Rodgers route for a lot of reasons. But he left himself naked at the quarterback position. And this was not a total rebuilding job. He turned it into a total rebuilding job. What that did was buy him time. That's all it did. That's what it did. It bought him time, bought him a lease on life. As for the Giants, the only thing you're looking at now is what week does Dart come back? How well does Dart play? How well does Dart protect himself? And like I said, if you are somewhat interested in the candidacy of the head coach, I wouldn't make a big thing out of that. I do not think he's a serious candidate. I really don't. Now, if he had won the last two games, if they had won that Packer game, if they had won today's game, we'd be talking about, yeah, but you know what? Winning matters. Winning changes things. Winning changes outlooks. Winning changes lives. Winning changes everything. It just does. It just does. Was this a winnable game today? Absolutely. Was it a game with a lot of crazy plays? Yeah. How about those two completions that they had? I mean, he's dead. He's sacked dead, and he throws the ball up straight up in the air, and somehow the Lions, who are just dreadful in the secondary, can't find it, and then completes a 3rd and 7. I mean, they had some strange plays today, and they had some really, really terrific plays today, and some really good performances today. So there was some positive things to talk about there. Tough loss, yeah. But again, the 2-10, what's the difference? Now it's about what weeks is thought. They have 5 games left. Pats on the road. Washington, Vikings at home. Raiders, who are dreadful, on the road. And then the Cowboys, who they can score a whole bunch of points against. And Dak and Dart can have their first of what will be many shootouts to end the regular season. Giants are just trying to get through what is a difficult season, especially with the backdrop of the illness that John Mara is fighting, which is really, to all concerned, the most important issue by far. Don't dismiss that even for a second. By far. That's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Everything else is after that. And if you think anything different, you're not paying attention. Or you don't know what's going on. That is the concern of both families at every level and the entire organization. It's just the way it is. Everything else will come in a natural order after the season's completed. But you're going to see Dart again, and they would like him to protect himself and perform well. Exciting game today, yes. Wild game today, yes. Winnable game today, absolutely. You want to get on the defensive guys again? Go ahead. Lawrence is in the game to start the overtime. Okay. Gibbs is Giants. I think come into this week like 31st against the run, and on outside plays that have popped outside, I think they are last in the league. And I mean, he broke a variety of different runs today, and he is absolutely lethal, as we know. And I think Camel is a terrible, terrible play caller, a terrible play sequencer, and he is a terrific head coach, and he should immediately return the play calling. Now, I understand that Ben Johnson's in Chicago, where he's winning a lot of games, and they've kind of become the cardiac Bears with their fourth quarter heroics. But whether or not you are happy with the play calling or not, you don't have a knack for it. It's not your strength. And especially here, where you have to stay to the run, you don't get off the run because you got 2 yards on first down with your running game and Gibbs in the backfield. The worst thing you could ever do. And when you run a rudimentary, when you run a passing game that is not first originated off play action and successful running in rhythm, your quarterback is not the same player. Your passing offense is awful. You get drops, you get sacks, you get bad throws, you get a mess. You've seen it now more than once. Stick to the run, especially when you have the most lethal player in the sport handling the football, because he's a threat to go all the way on every single play, as we saw today on numerous occasions, to the dismay of Giant fans everywhere. Now, we will come at you with a show on Tuesday that will also give you the Thanksgiving games. We will move the Wednesday game. We will move the Football Friday show up to Wednesday this week so that we include the Thanksgiving games and include what is a huge football extravaganza. We know everybody is off after Tuesday. Some are off already, but most everybody's off after Tuesday. That's just the way it works now, and it's a big holiday weekend. And obviously, you have 3 big games on Thanksgiving: Packers and Lions, Cowboys and Chiefs, Ravens and Bengals with Burrow. Now, they decided yesterday that they did not think Burrow. They said Burrow looked sensational in practice. They said they did not want to play him twice in 5 days. They thought it was too much coming out of the box. So they decided not to play him today in what turned out to be a close loss to the Pats. And they will play him on Thanksgiving night against the Ravens, which America would love to see anyway, and gives them obviously a much better chance. Rodgers did not play today. A close loss to the Bears. The Bears win that 31-28. The Pats win it 26-20. Now, T. Higgins was carted off, and you didn't have Chase today. And Higgins had a concussion, so you're not going to see him Thursday. And I'm sure you'll see a very moody Chase. Well, you always got a moody Chase. The Vikings have set themselves back dramatically. The Packers need to get the offense a little revved up. How they do now, listen, they're 7-3-1. Lions are 7-4. Okay, that's a huge game on Thanksgiving. Huge game, especially since the Bears are 8-3. That's a heck of a race. Bing, bing, bing. Steelers, what do they do now with Rodgers? They were afraid today that if he went to brace himself and put his hand down, he could injure the wrist more severely. They have to find out how they're going to protect it, how comfortable he's going to get with snaps. I'm sure he will try to play the next game. I'm sure that will be the case. The Steelers are now 6-5. The Ravens are now 6-5, and they still play twice. Very big win for the Chiefs today against the Colts. Colts are 8-3. Chiefs are 6-5. They needed that game desperately. They have the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Eagles are already pounding the Cowboys. Anybody, like I told you the other day, anyone who thought the Cowboys were going to get on a roll here were crazy. They have no defense. It's just the way it is. They have no defense. And the Eagles are for real, as are the Rams, as are the Seahawks. Seahawks have to worry about Donald because he has those games where he gets the interception bug, but they make a lot of plays to their wide receivers, a lot. So we'll see you early this week. We've got a busy week for you, and obviously a big holiday week coming up with plenty of wall-to-wall football. We'll see you later.